Are live again. Happy Tuesday. Obviously, yesterday was Labor Day, and there's a lot of people that were out. I ended up going live because I have this intuition sometimes to just pick up my phone and just make a video, not only for myself but for other people. I can see all of your comments, so if you guys have any comments, I can answer them at the end. But obviously, when I start answering comments and then I respond to it, and then you ask more comments or questions, and then I respond to it, this thing goes forever. Okay, so if you want to see the longer form video, those are on weekends. These are going to be the short term, kind of just right to the point, something that I'm thinking about, something that I've heard, and it just triggers it. And then the other is that if you go to BPI, which is my company that I own, it's a real estate company. If you're interested in any of that, we go live right after this. All right, and then we talk about something in the marketplace or just getting 1% better. So today we're going to be talking about something that I don't even know where it eventually or somehow just came into my mind, but it was definitely from someone, because I remember hearing the quote, and it was actually during the time where I just ate like shit during that day, and I didn't go to the gym, and I started thinking about it, and I said, what if I just continue doing that? Okay, this is the thing, is that there's two types of people. Okay, you can have the mental mindset of a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. We already know. If you're unfamiliar with that, that's the basics of any personal development. Carol Dweck wrote about it in Mindset. Highly recommend you check that book out. That's the complete, just foundational principles of self-development. From there, you have people that say, okay, great, I believe in a growth mindset. However, it actually splits. So in other words, I don't believe in a growth mindset. In other words, life comes at me and I have nothing to do except just accept it. I am this way. And then you accept it. Or my job will always be this way. My relationship will always be this way. Or my money will always be this way. So you have those types of people. I filter those people out of my life. People that have the growth mindset, which is if I go to the gym and I work hard and I do things happen to me, like my health improves, my weight goes down, my cholesterol is in balance, and then from there, you essentially have the people that take action and the people that don't take action. Over this weekend, obviously our boy Chris, we just kind of bantered back and forth about it. I think we ended up getting to the same principle, but the foundational principle of exactly what someone discusses in their mind when they want to do something. Okay, so that could be anything. That could be making sales calls. It could be approaching that pretty girl. It could be, getting a bigger office right now. It could be going to the gym this morning. It could be waking up earlier. Whatever the case is, something in your mind says, okay, I want to do this or I don't want to do it. Okay, when you say I don't want to do it, so these are the action-oriented people. Is that you come up you justify this logically. Okay, you don't just justify this emotionally. Emotionally, you're saying I don't want to do it. Logically, you say, I need the rest. I'm too tired. I'll go tomorrow, whatever the case is. Here's the thing. As I've grown older, I've seen people, not only in my life, but people that I've looked up to, and they started just going down the path of just not taking action. And then over time, guess what happens? Life disciplines those people, hence the topic of the video, those people that can't discipline themselves. So if you can't discipline yourself, don't worry about it. That's fine. That's cool. I'm not mad at you. But guess what? Life's going to do that for you. Okay? So in other words, if you can't discipline your spending, guess where you're going? A smaller house, lower lifestyle. You can't afford the salad. You eat the burgers. You don't want to wake up early, or your alarm goes off and you snooze it. Okay? These are just all the reactions that happen when you say, okay, I understand there's a growth mindset. I understand that if I do something that will trigger something good. However, the case comes down to if you don't discipline yourself, life will do it for you. Okay? There is no equilibrium. There is no staying the same. There is no just flat line. You can't just live. Okay? If you just live, you're actually dying. Okay? If you just stay still, you're actually in stagnation, which is going backwards. Okay? Grant Cardone talked about this in the 10X rule. I highly recommend that book. Is that if you want to do a certain amount of prospecting, if you want to do a certain amount of any activity, the intensity of that activity and the duration of that activity and the repetition of that activity. So in other words, the duration, how long you do it, how intensely you actually do it. Do you pick up the phone and then you put it down and then you do something else, you pick up the phone. Yeah, I prospected for an hour, but how many calls did you actually make? And then the repetition. Those are three things that are to any habit. Okay, so if you don't want to discipline yourself, waking up early, going to the gym, eating healthy, approaching that person, asking that guy out, whatever the case is, studying, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I don't care, your parents don't care, society doesn't care. The only person that cares more about you is you. The only person that cares more about the outcomes in your life is you, okay? And the reason I'm coming down hard on you is because someone needs to, okay? I've seen in my own life, I've seen the people that I've looked up to, this one person that comes to mind, he made a ton of dough, he owns multiple restaurants, he raised, God knows, I think $3.2 billion, he gets residual income on it, he can afford a very healthy lifestyle to say the least. However, he's losing his vision. He can't walk that well. He has arthritis. Why? Because over years and years of neglecting your health, that's what happens. Life will discipline those, and he's not a guy, he's got a full head of hair. It's not a guy that you see on the street that, he looks a lot older. I see it in my own friends. A lot of the people that I grew up with, I'd run into on the street, say in high school or in middle school or whatever, and they say, holy cow, Charles, I saw all your stuff. It's on YouTube and it's all on Facebook and everything else. It looks like you're doing great and everything else. Yeah, it took me 10 years to get to this point, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be, okay? Nowhere near, okay? And I look at them and I say, wow, okay. And I remember this person as an athlete, or the guy that got the girls, or the guy that had a really, really nice car, or a sick job. And then that sick job, actually, after 10 years, you kind of flatlined, and now everyone reached your income level, and then you're just in cruise control throughout life. So if you don't discipline yourself, that's fine. Not a big deal. I'm not mad. Your parents aren't mad. Society's not mad. Maybe we'll say something, but you're the only one that would be. All right, so if you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. Go live every single week. And of course, we have 2 folks that are watching right now. One of the biggest things a lot of people are like, oh, you should have more subscribers. I've talked about this before, is that I'm not doing this for the subscribers. I'm not doing this for the money. Like, yes, eventually, it's more about my legacy. In other words, for me, I also just want to look back and say, okay, at one time, I actually thought this way. At one time, this is how I changed, okay? My virtual assistant, I don't want to say anything about it, but I drive her crazy because everything that I say, I change. And the reason I change is because I put it out there, I try it, I get an idea, I try it, and then I say, nah, that's not it. And then I readjust. So in other words, if I keep on trying the same thing, and nothing is happening, life disciplines me. It's not working. We're going to recall the amount of business that you're going to get. Referrals start slowing down. You start actually losing confidence, which then starts going into maybe your health, your mental health, then maybe your physical health, then maybe your relationships, then the money, because you want to spend money to make up for the lack of how you feel. Okay, so you spend money to make up for the lack of your feeling good. Okay, so you buy something on Amazon or shoes, you're going on vacation, or you go to a fancy dinner, or whatever the case is. So if you guys have any questions, leave in the comments below. I'm going to pop out for now. If you guys want, join me on BPI YouTube. That's what I'm going to be talking about. I think we're talking about sellers today. We're talking about sellers today. We have the fall market coming up. We just came out of Labor Day. This is very important in the real estate marketplace. So if you guys want, the links are below. Have an